Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I have a special guest on What Are You Going to Do About It? It's my dear friend, Mona Lisa Sharp. Mona, how are you today?
I am doing very well. Lanita, thank you so very much for having me.
Oh, of course, you look fabulous as usual.
So do you, Queen.
So, Mona, we've known each other for a long time. I don't even know. It's probably near 2 decades, I want to say. So, goodness, age of my
right? Yeah. You still look young and beautiful.
Oh, so do you. So do you. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what you do, all of that good stuff.
As Lanita mentioned, my name is Mona Lisa Sharp. I am the CEO of a Sharper Learning Institute. And what we do, we specialize in learning solutions. So anything that involves training, anything that's training related, such as e-learning, online training, it could be instructor-led training. So anything training related. We design and develop training for any industry, any organization. It could be at the government level. It could be at the university or the secondary educational level. It can also be at the corporate level. Mainly, we specialize in corporate training. So it doesn't matter which industry we design training for. But yeah, that's exactly what we do. We specialize in training. Also, a Sharper Learning Institute offers a certification program for anyone who is interested in the field of instructional design and e-learning. And the certification program, yes, it takes you step by step on how to get started, what to expect. And most of our participants who complete the program, they end up getting good positions. They might work a contract or they might get full-time employment. But our goal is to get them at least 6 figures or more once they complete the program. So yeah, it's a rewarding opportunity. We have had some success stories. We even had a Secret Service man from I would say he was with President Bush's administration, the first President Bush. He took our course, and he has given us some great reviews. So yeah, it's been a wonderful journey being the CEO of a Sharper Learning Institute.
So when people come to you and they want to get certification, do they have to have experience or any type of undergraduate or graduate degrees, or is it just you come in and you get your certification?
Typically, we would recommend that they have some type of experience in training. Even if you created a PowerPoint and you walked through that PowerPoint in front of an audience, that's a form of training, and that's a form of instructional design. And the funny thing is, a lot of people don't even know what instructional design is, but they're actually doing it and don't even know there's an official, I should say, title associated with it. So to answer your question, we prefer you have some experience, but if you don't, it doesn't matter because we train you, we get you up to speed. Me, myself, I was self-taught. My degree is in something totally different. It's actually in business administration and merchandising, but I ended up getting into instructional design because I was a trainer, a teacher, and a trainer for at the corporate level. So it allowed me to make an easy transition. And also in terms of a secondary degree, it's not mandatory, I should say. But it is recommended to have some type of formal secondary education training, but it's not necessary in order to transition to the field.
Cool. Well, this sounds like a great opportunity for people.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It is.
All right. Well, let's get into it. So the show is called What Are You Going to Do About It? We ask 3 simple questions. What was the problem? When did you figure out it was a problem, and what ultimately did you do about it? So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you so that you can share your problem, how you identified it, and what did you do about it?
Okay. My problem is I am a person who does not like used things.
Mhm.
So you may call me bougie, and I don't know if your audience can relate to this, but I don't like used. I don't like a used car. I don't
Mhm.
like used clothes, like hand me down. I just don't. I never did, even as a child. I always had to have new, and I used to wonder, well, what's wrong with me? Why do I have to have new? Even my home, I'm like, I have to have new. So
Did you
the
have no
problem,
idea where that came from?
I do not. I do. I do not, and I know I am bougie, and I do admit to that. I am bougie, and I'm very selective.
Mhm.
So, but I had to have all my cars had to be brand spanking new.
Mhm.
I could not tolerate a used car. I don't
Mhm.
know if it's because I have a phobia of somebody else being in the car, and there's,
Mhm.
maybe
Mhm.
germs. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know, but it's a crazy phobia. And I need to do some research to see if anybody else experienced this same type of issue. But
Right.
I think it's a good issue because what it does, it raises my expectations. It
Mhm.
doesn't allow me to settle. And I love that because I never settle. So instead of me, when it was time for me to buy my first home,
Mhm.
I was actually married because I've been married twice. So I'm
Mhm.
my second marriage. But my
Mhm.
first marriage, we were homeless, and we
Mhm.
were living out of a van. And then we found an abandoned apartment building, and we
Mhm.
would go in there and sleep on the floor, and no one knew we were in there.
Wow.
I would have to sneak my children into different places to bathe them. My oldest at the time was 7, so she was in the second grade. No one even knew this was going on.
Wow. Mona, as long as I've known you, I've never heard that before.
Yep,
Never
I was
seen that.
literally homeless. I could have
Wow.
gone back to my mom's house, but
Mhm.
I just didn't want to. We had moved to Atlanta.
Mhm.
I had a baby. My youngest, she was a baby. She was like maybe 6 or 7 months. And
Mhm.
then I had a 3-year-old. And then my oldest, like I mentioned, she was in the second grade. So no one even knew. We were going to church, dressing up still. We would change in the van. I was feeding them Lunchables for dinner.
Mhm.
I would have to do school with my son. He was 2 at the time. I was trying to get him in school into what is it? They have some kind of program for 2, 3-year-olds, but he didn't
Mhm.
qualify. We
Mhm.
didn't have an address, so I
Right.
couldn't really put him anywhere. So I had to just train him or teach him, I should say, in the van when my oldest was at school. And then I found employment,
Mhm.
but it still wasn't enough for us to secure a home. And
Mhm.
my husband
Mhm.
at the time was having a difficult time finding employment. So yeah, we stayed in the van for approximately maybe 3 months before
Mhm.
one of the teachers, I was working at found employment at a school, a Christian
Mhm.
school, and she offered to allow us to come and stay with them because she found
Wow.
out, yeah, what was going on with the situation. And
Mhm.
she allowed us, but I just kept trusting God through the process because I knew He had better. And
Mhm.
instead of us going and just getting any apartment or any home, or, especially once I started working and then
Mhm.
once my husband started bringing in income, I just couldn't settle. I'm like, no. With 3 kids coming from homeless, you would think I
Mhm.
would be grateful to move into any type of,
Yeah, yeah.
piece of property, put it that
Mhm.
way, even if it was
Mhm.
a 1 bedroom and we were just doing what we needed to do. But I
Mhm.
couldn't, it was something in me there that was like, no, you continue to strive for what you want. And that's
Mhm.
what I always encourage people to go for what you want. Go for what's inside of you that won't allow you to settle and sit down and sit back and say, yeah, this is it. But I know it's a process and it takes time. People have to go through different things to get to their ultimate goal.
Right.
But yeah, so the couple, the teacher at the school, she allowed us to come and live with her. And then
Mhm.
we stayed there for maybe about 3 or 4 months.
Mhm.
And eventually I found this subdivision where I'm like, oh, this is perfect because they were building brand spanking new homes. And I'm young at the time because I got married real young. I got married
Mhm.
at 22. But again, I'm like, I know God
Mhm.
has greater for me. So I told my husband, I said, this is the property we're going to move into. And, people like, what? You got to crawl before you walk. You going into an apartment. I'm like, no, I know that God has better for us. So we believe for that property. We prayed for it. We went around and walked around the ground. Nothing was built there yet, but I went in and I told them I'm putting a contract on this property right here. And I went through with the contract. I didn't have any money in the bank, Lanita, because remember, I just started working.
Wow.
And I was living from check to check to check. And really, I didn't even see the checks. That's how bad it was. I'm just, paying because I'm trying to get caught up. And I remember one time I had gotten a check for $1,200. And, I'm thinking to myself, this isn't enough to really pay much or to get caught up. And I just heard the Holy Spirit inside of me, because I'm a firm believer in the Word of God. I'm a firm believer in the Holy Spirit and listening to that voice within you. Right. He told me to plant a seed. Now, a lot of people might not agree with that, but I just had to go with what he was telling me. I put that whole check in church. And the ironic thing was I lost the check before I had an opportunity to cash it. That's how, all the problems happen when a blessing is about to come. The storm starts. I lost the check. Actually, I lost the check. It just flew out the window. And we had the window.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it flew out of the window. And so my husband at the time, he said, well, let's backtrack where we were driving. And we were somewhere in Buckhead, I think, because I got paid. I'm thinking, oh, we got some money. I could take the kids for ice cream. They've been living in these conditions all these, months. And I wanted to do something different or special for them. But anyway, we found the check. It was on the yard or the lawn of a Bank of America. I'll never forget this. In Buckhead, it was a Bank of America. And I spotted it while I was in the van. And I'm like, there's the check. And I got that check. I endorsed that check so fast and planted it into the ministry where we were. And Lanita, a couple of weeks after that, we got an approval for the loan on the Yes. Yes.
What an amazing
a brand spanking new house.
So I'm trying to see where the problem is, because I don't know.
The problem is I expect new, but I guess that's not a problem. It could be a problem for some, but
yeah.
Maybe that's a solution. I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm getting off subject, but I think
that's a blessing.
Sometimes it could be a problem because people look at it like, well, why are you always going after something that's new? Just like I mentioned, I didn't even have the money, but in my heart, I knew what I wanted and I couldn't settle for something that was not new.
Right.
Oh,
So maybe the problem is because you want something new, it may take a longer time for you to get what you want. I don't know.
That's
where you could settle for something, but ultimately, you know what you want and you trust God. So I don't know. It sounds like a good problem to have, though, to me.
It could be a good problem. It could be a good problem. So and maybe that could be it. It takes longer. I don't know, because sometimes it may not take longer. I know if you don't have the money and the credentials or the credit, it could take longer for you to just be patient to get to that point. But I just knew it was going to happen.
Yeah,
I just knew it was going to happen. Even for my second home, I had to have it built. And I did. I said exactly what I wanted. And I got exactly what I wanted. A 6-bedroom, every bedroom have a bathroom and a basement. And I got exactly what I wanted built from the ground up again. So I don't know again if that's a problem, but it's been one of those things that I've always had ever since a child, and I can't relax unless I, get what I want within my heart.
Well, I think this is a lesson about faith, because obviously your faith is strong and you trusted God and you heard from God when you said, this is the property, and also for those who don't believe, it's also a lesson in manifesting, what you want. So it's kind of like walking out the secret. Like you're like, this is mine. This is what we're going to live in. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And you did not waver.
I did not waver. I did not waver because I knew firmly this is what I wanted. And once I put my attention to something that I want, I don't stop until it manifests. So you're absolutely right.
So how did you get from where you were in terms of like, barely getting by to where you are today?
That took a lot of faith too. Just mainly just keeping myself educated in my field and knowing too that I never wanted to work for anybody. And I knew that as a child as well. I knew I could never work on a job. I would get a job and I would leave it in a few weeks because I'm like, this is not for me. Because again, settling, I could never settle in my spirit. And then once I realized, when you continue working for someone, you're building their dream, you're building their legacy. Although I'm not knocking anyone for having a job because we have to have income and people do have opportunities for us to start building income. But I would take those opportunities and start building income, yes, but still at the same time, start working on a legacy or a plan of my own. And that's what I did when I realized I can't get rich working for someone else and I'm building their dream. I'm really supporting their family legacy or heritage. And this is going to carry all my labor, although they're paying me small wages, still all of my labor, knowledge, intellect is carrying over to this company and building this family's legacy. So when I realized that, I decided, okay, I need to really start planting into my own business, start sowing into my business, start leveraging as much as I can in terms of knowledge and just gaining, as much experience as possible around business. And that's what I did. And I just kept going and building and building. And now my business has been very successful to the point where I've contracted with big major companies, meaning I was able to use my services to consult with big companies on their training needs. And these companies include American Express, Coca-Cola, Home Depot. I believe that's where I met you. Home Depot. So yeah, I was working in my own company at the time. I was contracting with Home Depot. I had a contract with them to fulfill their training requirements. And so I've just been continuing down that pathway because consistency is the key. If you stay consistent with what you're doing, you will see results. And you just continue at it and it will keep growing and growing and keep trusting God and it will keep increasing and increasing. And that's what's been happening. So I went from zero to an amazing, company now, a Sharper Learning Institute, which is growing, and we're helping people to experience financial success because most people, even when they go into a job role, they're not making six figures. And if you come over here and get the proper training, we can help you get there. So that's the goal, to reach as many people as possible to help them transition if they enjoy developing learning. And that's one thing you do have to do. You have to enjoy helping people learn. You have to enjoy being creative, meaning coming up with different ways and different solutions for people to learn from. And then you just have to be a people person. And as long as you have those skills, good communication skills, just your basic skills, you can be successful in this field. And we have been helping to transition just your everyday people coming from customer service jobs, restaurant backgrounds, because they want a better life and they deserve a better life. So yeah, that's what we've been doing.
How were you able to transition though out of, a job or working for someone else to starting and, just having a full-fledged company at this point?
Just mainly being consistent and diligent with building the company behind the scenes. So even though I was working for someone, just making sure I'm setting aside time every day. I didn't skip even the weekends. I would put whatever time I needed to put, even if I did something every day towards the business to get it there, that's exactly what I would do.
Wow.
So, and a lot of times you have to multitask, you have to juggle. And I had a family. And then, unfortunately, I ended up getting divorced at a young age with the 3 children. And I had to do what I needed to do to make sure my children were able to thrive in life. I was able to give them a good, home, as well as provide them with help for education. So all 3 of my children were able to graduate from college by me being a single parent and doing it on my own. I just had to manage my time wisely to make sure, okay, I've got to get my business going, because I know that's going to even help add to me having even more financial success. So
That's awesome. So if you had to leave people with one thing, considering everything that you've gone through, from homelessness to, barely making enough money to provide for your family, to becoming a single mother, to now thriving with 3 children graduating from college with their own businesses, and, a happy, healthy marriage now, multiple homes, like what would be your message for those who are watching?
My message would be to stay consistent, stay focused, believe in your heart, whatever desires you have in your heart, whatever drives your passion, tap into that, follow that passion, stay consistent with it, trust God through the process. That's first and foremost. Again, I'm a firm believer in trusting God, depending on Him. Without Him, I could do nothing. Anything is not. I should say this: nothing is possible without God. Trusting God through the process, that is so important. And staying consistent, staying focused, never giving up on your dreams, your goals, and find something that's going to motivate you to get up out the bed every day. Whatever is getting you up to, with whatever you'll do for free. That's what I tell people. Whatever you'll do for free, that's your passion. If that'll drive you to get up every day and you want to work towards that, then that's what you need to do. But yeah, that's what I would encourage people to do. Keep God first. Find what's going to be passionate in yourself, or what drives you to get up every day, and stay consistent with that. Those are the keys right there. And you'll see success over time.
I think another thing that you said that's very important as well is, it's not just about following your dreams and following your passion. Yes, you did that, but you also recognize that you had to work another full-time job, and then you reinvested back into your own business and your career and your education. I think sometimes people get distracted because they're like, well, this is my dream, this is my passion, and this is what I'm going to do. And then they fail to realize that, yeah, that's all fine and good, but you still need to handle your business. you still need to work. Unfortunately, you want to work for yourself, but you're going to have to work for somebody else to gain the capital to be able to invest back into yourself and to your business.
Exactly. Yeah, it's about having a plan. Just put a plan in place and say, okay, yeah, I know I got to go work this 9 to 5. So from 9 to 5, I'm going to commit my time to this company so I can make that capital that I need to build my own company or my own business. And then maybe you come home, relax for a minute, spend time with the family. Then maybe from 8 to 12 midnight, you're working on your own company. I mean, I've seen myself burning the midnight oil plenty of times because I knew if I didn't make that sacrifice, then I wouldn't get the results that I'm looking for. And I'm still not there yet. I'm still building each day. I'm still striving. I'm still trying to grow my company to a global brand. And it's going to get there because I'm consistent, I'm focused, and that's what I'm believing is going to happen. And as long as I believe it, I can receive it. So, yes.
All right, I'm going to tell people how they can follow you and, get more information about A Sharper Learning and all that good stuff.
Okay, that sounds great. So another thing I do want to add is that Sharper Learning is also focused on the Metaverse. helping companies, people, it could be individuals, just learn more about the metaverse, what it is, what's coming. Actually, the metaverse is here, and more people are starting to learn about it, each day. But we're trying to help individuals get on board and learn how to monetize the metaverse.
But what is the metaverse for those that don't know?
Okay.
Give us the elevator pitch.
Sure, definitely. Real quickly, the metaverse is a virtual world. So basically, it's multiple virtual worlds. It's virtual reality where you can actually go into a metaverse space and you can do some of the same things that you do in a physical space. So one thing about the metaverse is that it will be decentralized, meaning you will own your own space. So let me give you a quick example. On Instagram, when you post your pictures, your reels, your videos, those are not really your property once they become on that platform. Once they become a part of that platform, it's really not yours anymore. They could take your whole profile down and you can't really do anything about it. You could request to get it back. If they refuse to give it back to you, then hey, it's their property. But with the metaverse, it's decentralized, meaning you will own your own property, your profile, your images, your videos, whatever you post up there, they really become your own property. So what we do is we help people learn more about the metaverse, how they could take a sneak peek of it. And I actually have a class coming up, a master class coming up this Thursday. At 7:00. I think it's Thursday is the February 9th, I believe. Just making sure I'm looking at the calendar properly. But yeah, Thursday, February 9th, to learn more about the metaverse. We're actually going to be in my metaverse space for a sharper learning. You don't have to have an Oculus, meaning a VR headset, to participate. You can participate from your browser. So if you are interested and want to learn more about a sharper learning, the instructional design program that I talked about, or if you just want to get in and see how the metaverse looks and, get in there and meet some other people that are attending, feel free to go to my profile at Instagram, A Sharper Learning. So it's the @ A Sharper Learning, or you can go to our website, asharperlearning.com. And you can register on the website. You can also follow us. And so follow us on A Sharper Learning, at A Sharper Learning for Instagram, Facebook. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn, Mona Lisa Sharp. Follow me on my personal Mona Lisa _dimples for Instagram as well as Facebook. And you can follow A Sharper Learning, our YouTube channel. And we're getting ready to expand our YouTube, where we will be talking more and more about the metaverse, the different opportunities that are available in instructional design and e-learning. We have contracts that are opening up with different companies. So we're looking for people to get this skill set. So if you know anybody that's interested in learning how to do instructional design, which is building training, and you want to get to those 6 figures, then you need to come holler at me. I'm willing to help you get going. And I don't know if you can see my logo in the back, but it's asharperlearning.com for the website.
Got it. Thank you so much, Mona. I've learned something, so I'm sure my viewers will be learning something as well. And I just appreciate you taking the time to share your story, and just being so open and honest. That I would have never known you experienced all that. Every single time I see you, it's always bubbly and laughing and positivity. Like I never see you down. So I just appreciate you being so sweet and so humble and so kind.
Oh, thank you, Lanita. And so are you. You've always been sweet, humbled, and kind. So I appreciate you as well. And thank you so much for having me. And I greatly enjoyed this conversation.
Yes, thank you. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, you are not the only one who are going through your problems. Hopefully you've learned from Mona and other people that we featured on the show that, once you discover your problem, once you go and you talk to other people, you see their stories, you too can figure out how to make it through their problems. So just ask yourself, what am I going to do about it, and do something about it. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mona.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.